Welcome to the special magistrate hearing for April 11, 2023. If you wish to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. Please stand. Are you going to speak? Do you swear and affirm to speak the truth at today's hearing? Thank you. Please silence all electronic devices.
Good morning. Our first case is on page 12. Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22100890, case address 2341 Northwest 14th Street. Owner Eli Bohadana. Personal service 3223, posted at City Hall 32823.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number CE 22100089. Property address 2341 Northwest 14th Street. The property was inspected on 10/25/23, and the following violations were observed. 9-305B, the landscape of the property has not been maintained in a neat, well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 47-34.1.8.1 has complied. An inspection report was posted on 10/25/23. A reinspection was done on 11/27/23. A 60-day extension was given to the property. A notice of hearing was hand-delivered to the owner of the property at 700 Northwest 19th Street at the DSD office. As a pre-hand inspection on 4/3/23, the violations remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or $50 a day thereafter.
For per violation, correct?
Sir?
Oh, there's only one remaining?
One, yeah, for the violation,
Okay, and that's for the storage or the lawn?
for the landscape, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir, your name and
You know,
address?
my name is Ali Bohadna. I'm the owner.
Okay,
Right now, I'm their eviction. I'm trying to evict the existing tenants. I went there a couple times, tried to work it out. I went with a bobcat. The police was called. Restraining order was put. The restraining order was dismissed. We went to court yesterday. He claimed the tenants, I don't know why he's here. He's not supposed to be here. He claimed that he have a heart attack, so they stopped the hearing. The hearing on the 13th. All I ask for more time so I can straighten it out. I will straighten it out in 2 or 3 days after I get the time, when I finish the eviction.
okay, so all this outdoor storage is gone, right?
Your Honor, I can't go to the property. He put no trespassing, restraining order. Something wrong with him mentally. And he said by himself, he will admit it. So I can't go to the property. According to my attorney, I shouldn't go to the property until I finish the eviction. And I'm in process, like I told you, I went yesterday in front of the judge. He claimed he have a heart attack, so we stopped the hearing. There's another hearing on the 13th of the month. As soon as I get the eviction, I promise within a day or two, everything will be straight out.
Okay, well, the city's proposing 28 days to resolve this for the landscape, or a fine of $50 per day will start,
28,
right?
yeah.
One second. You understand that, right?
I understand that, but can I get more time? Because I don't know how long it's gonna take the eviction.
I'm not opposed to 63 days because of what he's going through and what he needs to do to get it done.
63?
So 63 will be fine with me.
Don't talk over him, please. Don't do that. Good, don't do it. All right, so you get 63 days to resolve
Thank
this. That's
you.
plenty of time. If this gentleman wants to speak, well, let's let him speak for a second.
No
You
problem.
got to speak on the microphone. Your name and address.
Big shoes in the courtroom. Yeah, Your Honor, my name is Daniel Boyle. I'm the tenant. I've been there for 2.5 years. The end of June would be the beginning of a 4th year, but I wouldn't stay there another minute if I can help it. I took over that house for him, and me and him had been making arrangements, because the house is very old. It's in bad shape. Things are rotting away from it. Doors are falling off the back. And he dropped off the door for me. I took pictures of everything. And these violations and his 7-day to cure, they're not matching. They're not matching dates. I had spoken with Karen, I knew since I was living at 2424 Northwest 21st Street prior to moving into his house. And she did some code violations over there, and we got to know each other. She used to stop by the house and see the dogs. She knew I was taking care of another friend's dogs. We used to chat. It was pretty good. She knew I was disabled. I had no income at the time, and I was on housing, okay? I'm on housing. And I still tried my best to keep the yard right. He had an agreement or request in his lease that I maintain the grass and the bushes. He tried supplying me a lawnmower. The wheels fell off the damn thing. I mean, it didn't work, okay? He gave me a weed whacker. I'd be out there for hours. I have COPD. I have disabilities. I didn't want to do it. Now, come a time that I was actually helping somebody. They were staying with me for a short amount of time. I'm restricted for 14-day visits at a time with housing. But I extended a little bit because I was helping a man that needed medical help. And he eventually did die. So his funds that was coming in to help make things a little easier, because I can't charge rent, but I surely was dumping it back into his house. So then I got an inheritance. Karen was privy to the piles of dirt. I was collecting things. There were things that I knew I'd be using immediately and you know, be in need of, but she was telling me, you can't really have it showing. When are you gonna drop that down? I'd be working on a guy's house next door to make $40 so I could, you know, get cigarettes and feed my dogs because of limited income.
Okay, I gotta stop.
I'm
you for
getting
a
to the
second.
point though, because
Let's do
this is
that.
where it goes. Well, this is how it all started. I mean, it takes 2.5 years to put this together too. I'm not gonna take 2.5 days to tell you, but this isn't quite right. Okay, I don't have a mental health problem. I had anxiety attack. I didn't have a heart attack yesterday. I had anxiety because what he did in the courtroom and the judge was not at least letting me speak like you guys are. Now, I have ADHD. I have some issues, and I have bipolar. I try and keep my hands in my pockets, except when this man comes over and creates violence. Okay? According to him, Karen came up on the 6th, which was a Sunday, I believe, of February, 5th or 6th, whatever Sunday that was. I was due to send pictures to Julio.
Sir, I can't hear this whole story. I'm not here
I-
about
well,
this.
I have to,
Excuse me.
I have to, John, because
Excuse,
there's no
no,
reason in the world why
excuse me,
he's-
you don't, because I don't want to hear it. It's
Okay.
not, it's not relevant
Well,
to
then I'd like to
what.
show you the pictures that
No,
contradict.
I don't want to see pictures. I'm telling you what, the property owner is responsible under the law, state law.
True.
and city.
Absolutely.
Right, to get this lawn
And he
fixed.
has to make an- he
Excuse
has to make
me,
an arrangement
don't
with me to
interrupt
get
me.
there, 'cause
Do
it's-
not interrupt me.
Excuse me.
He's got 63 days to get this fixed. You work out your stuff with tenant and landlord eviction or whatever you're doing. It has nothing to
I'm
do.
gonna hire
Excuse
another
me,
way.
don't
I thought you were
interrupt
asking me
me.
a question.
You don't seem to understand. Do you understand that?
I thought you asked me a
Don't
question.
interrupt me again, or you're leaving the room. You understand that? He has 63 days to get this resolved, or he's going to face a fine of $50 a day. That's all this is about today. And that's the end of the hearing.
As long as there's anybody blamed on me.
You work out your things with him in the court. It has nothing to do with
Okay,
us.
cool.
We can't help you here.
Cool. We have
Okay?
time trying to
Thank
get
you.
there. $50 a day? I would charge him 100.
Next
you.
case,
By the way, Your Honor, the inspector are wonderful.
I'm sorry?
Thank you. The inspector are wonderful.
Okay.
I love the
Oh, by the
inspector.
way, I
No
want to tell
problem.
people, but please, excuse me. Stop, or I'll have the police take you outside. I'm going to ask people not to call me Your Honor. I was never appointed or elected to be a judge, so just call me the magistrate or Mr. Ansgrove, but I don't want to be called Your Honor. Thank you. Next.
next case, page 7. Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22110306, case address 844 Northwest 13th Terrace, owner Mount Zion God Church, the House of Unity, posted at property 32323, posted at City Hall 32823.
Good morning, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr. presenting on behalf of the city, case number CE 22110306, case address 844 Northwest 13th Terrace. This property was first inspected on November 15, 2022 by myself, and the following violations were observed. 47-20.20.H is complied. 47-21.11.A. The landscape at this property and swale is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-306 is complied. Inspection report was posted on the property and also mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on 4/14/22. A pre-hearing inspection, on 11/15/22. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 4/6/23, and the violation still exists. I have been in constant contact with the representatives of the church. They have been diligent in getting the things fixed. They're just requesting a little more time to get this final one taken care of. So we're gonna request 63 days or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, your name and address?
My name is Earlene Rucker, and my home address?
Well, are you with the church, right?
Church,
You're
844 Northwest 13th Terrace is the church address in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And what's your capacity with the church?
I'm the treasurer.
Okay. All right, so you've heard that he's given you more than 2 months to get this lawn fixed up, right?
Yes, sir, but I think the landscape issues at Mount Zion are more than the traditional landscape of sod and plant. The pandemic brought a lot of issues to our church. And so the church was closed, and we were doing church on Zoom, and trespassers came in, and they had a lot of traffic in our area, and they destroyed the ground cover. And one Sunday, even when we got back, there was an 18-wheeler out there too, and we also had 3 homeless tents set up there on the property, and they were arguing with us that they had permission to be there. We had broken windows with somebody trying to get access. So all of this is happening, and we're trying to correct the damages. And we know we have more to do, but in addition to the written violations, we're dealing with regular maintenance as well. So we're trying to prioritize the work that's to be done. And right now we're working on replacing the roof, and also we have some bathroom work that is being done. And we also took care of the parking lot situation, and we painted the church. Now, the landscape, in addition to the sod and the plants, is a bigger issue because we need to find a way to keep the trespassers off of the church property. And this is probably going to require a fence around the church, and with swing gates on the front and swing gate on the side. Now, big trees would probably keep the intruders out, but on occasion, we need that parking space for, like, when we have other occasions. It might be a funeral or something where we need more parking. So we don't want to block it off so that we can't use it at all. So we're trying to prioritize and these maintenance costs. And most churches have experienced a declining membership and funds during and continuing even after, since the pandemic started. So we were already a very small church congregation, and now we're even smaller. So we need more time, and that would be greatly appreciated. And due to the extenuating circumstances, I would ask for an extension of up to a year.
That's not going to happen. They're offering you 63 days. That's more than 2 months to get the sod put down. So the other things you're talking about are not priorities for the city. They may be for you, and you're making some progress on the building. It looks better. The parking lot looks better. That's appreciated. You're in compliance with those. But this lawn area has to be fixed. You can't use it for parking, for funerals, church services, or anything else. That's not to be used for parking. That's got to be fixed. You got 2 months to do it, or a fine of $50 a day will start. I want to emphasize for you and everybody in the room, the city is not here to seek to collect fines. The fines are there to motivate people to comply. That's what the city wants. This is called code compliance. So you've done the first 2 things. You need to address this next. We're doing your roof or gates or anything else. You deal with trespassers like everybody else does. You post it, no trespassing. Somebody's on your property, you call the police and they get arrested because they're trespassed after warning. They can be arrested by the police. So you've got to fix this, okay?
All right, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next case, page 22, Inspector Malika Murray, case number CE 22030185, case address 4205 Northeast 22nd Avenue, owner Vito Labalestra, This case was first heard 6/14/22 to comply by 8/16/22. There are several suspensions noted on the agenda. This case is in compliance and administrative costs of $847. This is in order to reappear.
In order to what?
To reappear.
Okay.
Good morning, Madam Clerk and Special Magistrate. This is case number, once again, CE 22030185, with an order to reappear for the address at 4205 Northeast 22nd Avenue. We currently do have ownership here to actually speak on behalf of the property. This case first came before the Special Magistrate on June the 14th, 2022, where evidence was presented and the Special Magistrate found for the city. These violations were first cited on 3/6/2022. A total of 13 re-inspections were made at this property, as well as there have been 3 Special Magistrate hearings for this particular case, for this particular property's cases. Conversations have been made and had with ownership in regards to how to structure bringing the property into compliance. As of 3/13/2023, all the violations have been brought into compliance with respect to the demo permit that was issued for the property. After speaking with ownership and after further consideration, the city is asking for the imposition of administrative fees of $847.
Okay. Yes, sir, your name and address? Okay, so you've done a great job in cleaning up all these different violations, which is good, especially this thing about the pool was very frightening. That could never happen again. This is now vacant property?
It's under construction.
Okay.
And that was a good, the pool cover was good.
All right, well, the pool thing was pretty disturbing when I read that. I'm glad that's taken care of it, as well as everything else. So you're gonna owe $847 for the costs, which are pretty reasonable, given the fact they had 3 hearings, 13 inspections. It could have been 3 times that for all the time they spent on this. So you're gonna have to pay that. How much time do we give them? 30 days?
Special Magistrate, yes, 30 days would be sufficient, as well as he's also waived his right to the Massey hearing. I forgot to
Okay.
make you
All
aware
right,
of that.
so 30 days to pay it, sir? Sure. All right, very good. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Good luck with that one. He's pretty vocal. He's cute, really cute.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank you, Magistrate.
Next case, page 16. Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22120506, case address 2160 Northwest 24th Street, owner FL 33311 LLC. This case was posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
I'm sorry, which number was it? But what address? 2160. Got it, okay, thank you.
2160?
Yes, I have it.
No problem. Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22120506. Property address 2160 Northwest 24th Street. The property was inspected on 12/19 and the following violations were observed. BCZ 39-296. There are illegal land use occurring at this property. The vacant lot is being used to store vehicle, buses, trailers, commercial vehicles. This is prohibited use of B3 county zone property per section 295. 18-A.A. There is overgrown trash and debris on this property and its swell area. An inspection report was issued on 12/19/22. I re-inspected the property on 1/31/23, and the violations remained. Notice of hearing was posted on 3/27/23. As of pre-hearing inspection on 4/2, the violations remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or $50 a day for each violation.
Okay, yes, sir, your name and address?
My name is Rafael Brumer, 1901 Harborview Drive. I'm the owner of the company. So we bought this piece of property from the church, Seventh Adventist. And when we bought the property, vehicles was there. They promised me to vacate the vehicles after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Give me headache. They don't answer the phone. we cannot move them because we don't have the paperwork for, so,
You can't move them, why?
because we cannot send them to dump because we don't have the paperwork. So-
Excuse me, you're the owner now, right?
Yes,
You got to get them off the property. This is not going to continue.
okay,
Excuse me, you
Sorry.
got 28 days to do it. She's recommending a fine of $50. I think that's too low. I'm going to impose $200 a day, every day that you don't get this done after the 29th day. So, excuse me, don't interrupt me. This is not going to continue. This is going to be cleaned up. If not, the fines will start. And the worst case would happen is the city would foreclose on the property and take it. It doesn't want to do that. It doesn't want the fines. This cannot continue like this. You understand that?
I understand.
I don't care where you put the vehicles. The city doesn't care, but don't leave them here. Is that clear?
okay, so,
I'm asking you, is it clear?
clear. So we find a solution.
You have what?
We find a solution, and I rent a place for the church to move the vehicles because they're going to Haiti, donation, whatever. So the lease start June 15. So can you give me until June
No,
15?
absolutely not. You got 28 days to do that. 4 weeks. This has been going on, how long, Karen?
I inspected the property on December 19, 2020.
Okay.
But we have a lease.
Well, whatever you have, this is going to have to get off here because it's illegal to store all these vehicles and trucks and everything else. They've all got to go.
Can you give me
Excuse
60 days, please?
No, I'm not going to give you 60 days. 28 days is what she's recommending, and that's what I'm going to rule on. That's what you've got. So again, the city does not want the fine, but I'm imposing 4 times what she wants because this is unacceptable. She said 50, I'm saying $200 a day if it's not done. I want to get your attention. Don't want the money. I want the compliance like we all do here.
But at 60 days, I can move them.
No, you got 4 weeks to do it.
We cannot do it, please.
If you need an extension and you want to you work with her, you explain it to her, and if she can give you an extension, she will, but I'm not going to give you an extension. You have already had since December to do this. It's been 3 months.
We call them, they don't answer. We left them.
You're the owner of the property. These vehicles are on your property without your permission. Get them
Yeah.
off there.
It's not so easy.
It's going to have to be easy because otherwise it's going to cost you $200 a day. So that's not easy
But
either.
now we find a solution. So if you give me 60 days, it's done.
Do you have any reason to give them 60 days?
Actually, I do. He's diligently tried to get these trucks out of there. He's got 30 at a time removed. You know, and they're all inoperable. They all have no titles.
So you're willing to give them more time?
If he gets it done, I would give him, that would be the least amount of time that I would give him. But if he's saying that now he has the solution to get them all out of there, because they were all removed at one time.
And they came
So
back?
then, yeah, the old owner put them all back there. And then unfortunately, he bought the property and the owner said that he would move them all out and didn't tell him a truth. So
Okay.
now he's stuck with all of that. But he has done 30 at a time,
Okay.
you know, and he has been, we've met at the property and I've seen them being
So
moved
what's that,
out.
63 days it turns out to be, right?
And we could keep it at the $200 a day. I'm okay with that.
Okay. So
Because
I'm going to give you the 63 days because you requested it. She's amenable to
I
that.
appreciate it.
I ordinarily wouldn't do it, but she said you've been working on it, but you've got to get it done.
So sorry to interrupt you. So when we bought the property, was vehicles there? We had the walkthrough. They put them out, and the day we signed, they put them back. Can you imagine?
Put locks on the fence. This is
They
your,
cut the- they
this
cut
is your
the locks.
property. Excuse
They
me.
cut the locks.
Excuse me. It's your property. You're going to be responsible.
I
If it's not done, the fines go against you as the property owner, not the church. So get these things off of here. They can't stay.
Okay.
You got double the time I would have given you.
Okay,
63
really appreciate it.
days.
Okay, thank
All
you
right.
very much. Thank you, really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
Please-
you,
Please get
Magistrate.
it
Thank
done.
you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Next case, page 11, Inspector Diego Santos, case number CE 23010288, case address 108 Southwest 24th Avenue, owner TML Enterprises LLC, posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
The page and address again?
Page 11,
Okay,
case 108.
okay. All right, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Inspector Diego Santos, representing the City of Fort Lauderdale Community Enhancement, presented the case as read. On January 10, 2023, I inspected the property, and this is the violations I observed. 18-A, overgrow and trash. There's overgrow, trash, rubbish, and debris on the property and in its well. 9-305B, landscape maintenance. The landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover in the front of the property and in the swell area. At this time, the city is requesting 28 days for the property to come into compliance or face a fine of $25 per day per violation thereafter.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, your name and address?
Tina LaBeouf, 108 Southwest.
You have to be a little louder, I can't hear you.
Pardon?
Can you pull the microphone towards you and then?
Tina LaBeouf, 108 Southwest 24th Ave.
All right, are you the owner of the property?
Yes,
Okay, so you understand they're giving you 4 weeks to get this done?
correct.
Or fines, they're fairly modest, of $25 a day would start. Like I said before, the city does not want the money, they need the compliance.
Okay, I'm asking for an extension on that because I've been working with a contractor for over a year on that home, and he took a lot of money and he ran. I've had 4 squatters in the house, so I've had to have the water turned off. And so there is no water on the property, be able to maintain it. And I'm fighting with the contractor to get him to finish his job so I could get the water turned back on.
So this is an investment property?
Yes.
Okay.
The city is not opposed to give an extension. The only thing the city will request is at least the overgrowth to be taken care in the 28 days. Actually, would be to 10 days actually to be able to you just cut the grass, and that's all what it is.
Okay, and the other part, what's the other violation?
The other violation is the 9-305B, the landscape. So yeah, that's the big one.
Restoring the landscaping?
Yeah, the landscape, yeah.
Okay.
So we are not opposed to give more time, but the overgrowth and trash,
So it's
10 days.
63 days more than you want to give, or that's all right?
That's, I think that's fair. 63 days is enough time to be able to take care of
Okay,
the
so
lawn.
it's 28 days to cut the lawn.
The lawn is cut. I don't even live in this state. My daughter comes, I have pictures.
Oh, I'm sorry, 10 days. to do
Right,
it.
I understand that. But the lawn is cut now.
Okay.
Well, and you saw that Sunday.
It was still a little bit overgrown when I went on Sunday.
I have pictures. Anytime I come down, I have cut it. I've got pictures of that. My daughter tries to maintain it. We've got pictures showing that it is cleaned up in comparison to 60% of the houses in that neighborhood. I cannot do any more landscaping until I get permits, which I'm having problems with because the contractor that I have has run off with my money.
Permits for what?
I'm sorry?
What does she need permits for landscaping?
No, for the
Landscaping.
landscape, there's no need of permits. I think she explaining the other stuff that was going
for
on.
landscaping, to add rock, to clean the driveway up and add more rock, I have to have a permit.
Oh, for the irrigation? For the
Not even
irrigation?
for irrigation.
No?
To add more rock to my property, I have to have a city permit.
Okay. Well,
And the end of the driveway, I've watched my neighbors, they drive in and out. So that one of the areas he's talking about that he asked for sod, the neighbors drive on it all the time and it's in a deep swell. So adding any type of grass at all, it wouldn't even work.
Okay, well, we're not here about what improvements you want to do.
It's not improvements,
Excuse me. You've got 10 days to cut the lawn to make sure he's happy with it, whatever it takes to be sure he's satisfied. If he says, yes, that's enough, then you have to keep up on that. Then you've got 63 days to address this other issue of the landscaping. And that's got to be done, or a fine of $25 will start. Again, the city does not want that money. This is an investment property. You don't even live there. So you need to have someone to take care of it.
Well, I
for-
will be
Excuse
living
me,
there when it's done.
Excuse me. When
Excuse
I'm
me.
done, you'll know I'm done talking, okay? Then you have to get 63 days to get this property maintained. If not, the fines will start. Now, is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, that's the ruling.
Next case, page 18. Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 22030714, case address 904 Ponce de Leon Drive, owner Colleen Hurt. This case was first heard 8/9/22 to comply by 11/8/22. There are several suspensions noted on the agenda. One section not complied at $25 per day, $1,575 accrued. City is requesting the full amount and the fines continue to accrue. This is in order to reappear.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. Senior Inspector Gail Williams for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22030714, address 904 Ponce de Leon Drive. This case was first presented on August 8th, 2022, to comply by November 8th, 2022. On December 13th, 2022, Special Magistrate Hansberg granted 63 days extension, and on March 14th, 2023, granted a 28-day extension for the following violation: 25-100. There are pavers placed in the right-of-way/swell area without the required conditions permit. As of April 10th, 2023, there is no final permit for the pavers being installed. The city is requesting a full amount to be imposed and continue to accrue until permits are final.
Okay, Counsel, I remember the case very well. I'm aware of it. You were going to speak to Mr. Dunkel, the Assistant City Attorney, about a revocable license agreement. What has happened since I saw you last?
You're absolutely correct. It's my understanding, and I spoke to the inspector this morning. Let me back up and answer your question.
Well, first tell us who you are.
Dan Hughes on behalf of the property owner. We've been trying to get this revocable license. The city has we went through Chris Cooper's office.
I remember that whole story.
And they have said, look, Dan, we're not going to entertain that issue until you finish out this permit and finish it. And we.
Permit to do what?
The driveway area where they did on the swells. They put this porous tile because there's a drainage problem on Ponce de Leon since they did the work. So the city's now taking the position, look, we're not even going to entertain it until you do it. So it's my understanding, I've not been out there, I think the inspector has, that they started work, and I received something from my clients as an engineering rough, but they've not completed the work. They were supposed to do some yesterday, and apparently, according to my client, the weather got in their way. So they expect it'll be by the end of the week that the work will be completed. Then we can go back and ask the city for the easement, the revocable easement, but they won't entertain it till we put this back.
Okay, what's the city's position? I understand the history of it. I've dealt with it several times, but it's not coming to a conclusion, and I need to see this concluded. What do you recommend?
We're recommending the fines to be imposed until the permits are final. Part of the permit has been approved, but it's still waiting 3 other approvals at this present time.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to impose the fines, knowing you can seek a reduction in the fines at the end of the process, but the fines will continue to accrue. You heard me, you know the deal.
Right.
We don't want the money, we want this resolved. I understand why they put it there, I remember the whole history about the sewer pipes and that issue, but the person taking that into their own hands was not the way to do it. We're stuck with what we've got, we're going to give you the chance to try to resolve that, but the fines are going to start.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hughes?
All right, thank you, Judge.
Okay,
Or,
thank-
not Judge, thank you, sir.
No judge stuff, yeah.
No
Lawyers
judge.
can't get over that.
It's hard to do, though. It's hard to do.
I understand that.
It's hard to
I
do.
understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, page 23. Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 22070344, case address 2512 Laguna Drive, owner Forrest Patton, Forrest E. Patton Revocable Trust. This case was first heard 2/14/23 to comply by 3/21/23. One section not complied at $75 per day, $1,575 accrued. Fines continue to accrue, and this is a request for extension.
Good morning, Your Magistrate. Inspector Rafael Santos for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 22070344, The address is 2512 Laguna Drive. The property was cited under Code Section 9-305B for the swell area is covered with artificial turf, and the swell area must have live grown cover. The inspection report was posted on the property July 15th of 2022. A copy was mailed to the owner and BCPA. Case was first heard on February 14th, 2023, where the magistrate found for the city giving to March 21st, 2023 to comply by or a fine of $75 per violation. An inspection was conducted on April 10th, 2023, and found the violation was not in compliance. The city is requesting a stay of fines and a 154-day extension with a mandatory reappearance. And their attorney is here to speak as well.
Why do you want to give 154 days? I'm just curious. It's a long time.
Yeah, he's going to explain now.
All right, counsel, tell us who you are.
Good morning, Mr. Ansbro. Andrew Shine with Lockery and Chakas, representing the property owner. Right now, the city doesn't allow permits for artificial turf. They are working on an ordinance to allow artificial turf in low-lying areas or areas that get impacted by saltwater intrusion. The engineering department did go out and stated that this is one of the properties that would likely fall under that criteria. So the city is currently processing the ordinance to allow the artificial
All
turf.
right, so is this a king tide kind of condition? or
King
what?
Tides, it's on one of the islands. They have a catch basin right in front of their property too.
It's Los Olas Islands?
No, this is in the Harbor
Beach?
Yeah, the Harbor Beach area.
Okay. All right, so that's an awful long time, but now I understand the reason for it. So they want to stay the fines.
Correct.
Starting today, I presume.
Correct.
154 days to get it done. And hopefully you'll have it done by then. I mean.
The city is the one processing the ordinance.
Understood.
So hopefully, if the ordinance is not done by then, we would likely be seeking a variance for it, but it's going to just depend on timing on the city's processing of it.
Well, it's a long time to get this resolved, but it should be ample time, okay? So the fines are only like $15.75 right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So they'll stay on place for
Yes.
now until you conclude this, all right?
Understood.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You want to order?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
An
Yes,
order
in
to
order
reappear.
to
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Next case, page 22, Inspector Dorian Cologne, case number CE 22080173, case address 2200 Northeast 62nd Street, owner Imperial Port Colonnades Condominium Association. This case was first heard 11/9/22 to comply by 1/10/23, one suspension 1/11/23 through 4/11/23, one section not complied at $50 per day. Fine start for 11/23, and this is in order to reappear.
Good morning. Senior Inspector Cologne for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case number is CE 22080173. Case address is 2200 Northeast 66th Street. I first inspected this property on August 4th, 2022. Or I'm sorry, Inspector Caserta first inspected it. And the following violations were observed: 9308B. We had a hearing on the 9th of November on 2022, and Special Magistrate Flynn ordered 63 days to comply, or $50 per day thereafter. And then she also ordered a mandatory reappearance. Then we came back on January 11th, and you granted a 90-day extension and an order to reappear today. So I checked permitting yesterday, and there are some permits that were actually opened because there's a bunch of condos at this location. So according to our records, there were 4 permits open, but none of them were for this particular condo. So the representative is here to talk about that, and I'll let him speak, and then we'll revisit this.
Okay.
Good morning, Magistrate. This is Jeff Green on behalf of the association.
Jeffrey who?
Green. Jeff Green on behalf of the association.
You're an attorney, right?
I'm an attorney, yes. So after the original hearing in November, the association did enter into a contract for 4 buildings at their association, one of which is the subject of this violation. The contract's for over $700,000. Permits were submitted. I did speak with the inspector this morning. There appears to be some confusion about what buildings are covered by the permit, but I have a letter from the contractor that the subject building was permitted and a permit has been pulled, and he's scheduled to start May 1st. The contractor says that he's had issues because of the pandemic and receiving the roof tiles.
I don't want to hear about the pandemic anymore.
This is just-
Excuse me, put the pandemic way in the back burner because we're past that.
Fair enough. Issues with materials and supplies, those are still ongoing. He has issued this letter saying May 1st is when he's going to start, and the project is going to take 30 days. So I would ask for continuance until June 1st to reappear, to get with the inspector to show that the project has been completed in that
So
time.
it'll be completed by June 1.
The roofer says, assuming there's no issues with materials, it will be completed 30 days from May 1st. So we're obviously going to pressure the contractor to do everything we can to get it done June 1st. So that's what I would ask to come back or to talk with the inspector and make sure that that progress is being maintained.
All right, Inspector, what do you think?
So the problem I have with this is there's a lot of buildings here. And when you look at the permits, they actually, even though they're like one big humongous property, each building has its own address. So if you look, and I'm gonna turn this in for the record for the permits, it shows here on the permit that he has for building 22. If you look it up on our system, it's for 6700 Northeast 22nd Way. So the building that is what we're talking about today is 2200 Northeast 66th Street. So I don't know if there was an error or what, but the thing of it was when we were here before, you know, I said, look, they're gonna be opening all these permits for all these buildings, and I assumed that this one would be a priority since we came here, you know, before you. So it looks like, yes, they're in progress to do all these buildings, but to me, they're not putting that one first because they have whatever agenda that they have. So we don't know if this one's gonna even be, getting done as soon as they say.
May I briefly respond, sir? The permit application from December 13th, which I did present to the inspector, is for the address that is the subject of this
You
violation.
need 2200.
Exactly, and if I can present this into the record,
Well,
if
you
you'd
show
like
it to her first.
I did earlier this morning. I showed it to her. They
You
did
did.
apply for that. So if there's an administrative mix-up, I will make that a priority to address that. But the application is for the building. That was the first building they applied for after the hearing.
Okay,
So-
let me ask, ladies, are you able to go online and see if there's a permit for this thing or not?
And then I can turn this in as well, too.
Yes. So you show it to him first. Thank you, ma'am.
I do want to direct you to the highlights that the inspector showed. There's one that's 2220, and it's actually, I believe that's the typo, it's 2200. And if you look at the application they submitted, there was a kind of a handwritten note under the third two. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason that the permit is showing a different address, but 2220 is 2200. That's the one the permit was pulled for and where the work is going to be
No
done.
objection to this by the city for exhibit,
No objection,
other than
the
note-
typo.
what
And
you're
if-
noting?
Can
So
I
it's accepted
introduce?
as an exhibit?
Can I introduce the
Yes.
the
Are you
two?
okay with what he's proposing? And what did we find out, ladies?
This is what I'd like to propose is the permit application and the letter from the contractor showing the permit for the
Okay.
Mr. Magistrate, we were not able to pull up the 2200, so we can search the 220.
It's 2220 is what is listed
2220.
from her records.
This respondent's exhibit, no objection by the city.
None, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr.
So-
Magistrate.
So, are we willing
So,
to?
if I may, the permit that, for the one paper that he has where it says Building 22 is a different permit number. That's for the 22 way, different building altogether. The application that he's turning in is for, I guess, a typo that he had for another, that they had for another building. So it just doesn't, it's kind of, 2200's not involved yet. So even on the application, if they turn it in, it's still just an application. There's no permit issued. They are doing a lot of buildings. It's one company. I don't suspect that it'll be done. So the city's requesting that, that no other extension would be given, and that we would like the fines to start accruing. And then once they come into compliance, we can deal with the fines afterwards.
So you want to do that now?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm inclined to do that, knowing you can come back and seek a lien reduction, fine reduction hearing.
I
But this has been
understand.
dragging on a long time.
Respectfully, they did enter into a $700,000 contract in December 7th, which was right after the initial hearing. In my experience, this is not a long time for a project of this magnitude to go through permitting and to start the work and to get materials with roofers. This is actually, we're only in April from a contract that was signed in December. So I understand the city's position. We are trying to comply. I would just ask to hold the fines until June. We'll be in contact with the inspector, give her updates, and then we can come back here for rehearing in the June 1st calendar that you have, sir.
Is it any?
And one other thing that I want to, for the record, this came in as a complaint. And, you know, the complainant does call me all the time to find out why their building is not getting done. You know, he says, I haven't been out there lately, but he says it's leaking. You can see the condition of the roof. It's very bad.
So there's this building, but there's a number of other buildings as
All the
well.
buildings are being redone. I get it. I understand that. But, you know, this building is what was brought to us as a complaint. We've already been here. This is the third time he's asking for another extension. So that's why the city
Okay,
stands
well,
where we do.
I did give the extension last time, so I'm not inclined to give it
Can I
again.
have one last rebuttal?
You may.
Since the time we have invoices from the roofer that they have been making repairs to leaks whenever there is a complaint multiple times because of the delay in getting the project started. So leaks are being addressed. It's not that they're sitting on their hands. I can present in evidence. There's $3,000 repairs, there's $2,300 repairs, there's an $1,800 repair, a $2,600 repair, $2,000 to address the leaks.
What
So-
about the complainant? Do we know what unit he's in or she's in?
Say again?
The unit of the complainant, what number?
Well, it's at this building. He didn't, I would have to look it up.
Okay.
I can certainly.
I'm not inclined to give another extension. I'd rather run the fine and then deal with it when it's in compliance. But this has been running for a period of time. Okay? I'll work with you on it. The city will work with you on it. It's not to punish. I know people in condominiums, each one would have to pay his or her share. So that's not what anybody wants to do. But they do need the compliance. It's just been running. How long did this start?
This first came in August 4th, 2022.
I mean, that's, 9 months ago.
The first hearing wasn't until November, so that's when they
It's a matter
became
of the
aware.
It was,
violation.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It was first inspected in August, and then, yes, it went to the hearing in
But
November.
that's
Okay,
why
but
I'm-
the hearing is not the issue. The hearing is when it's first noticed, they get a courtesy notice to do something about it, right?
Say again?
They get courtesy notice to resolve it?
Of course, of
Okay.
course.
And now it's been dragging out, and they must have hired you afterwards. I get that, but
No, we've been involved.
look, I made the ruling. That's what it's
That's
gonna
fair.
be. All right.
Thank
We'll work
you.
with you on it.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, page 24, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22080005, case address 2308 Northwest 6th Place, owner Anthony Lewis Thomas. This case was first heard 12/13/22 to comply by 2/14/23. One suspension from 3/14/23 to 4/11/23. Two sections complied at $25 per day, $1,400 accrued. Three sections not complied at $25 per day, $2,100 accrued, for a total of $3,500, and the fines continue to accrue. This is a request for extension.
Good morning, Inspector Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city. Case and address as read. Just to note, The only violation remaining as of yesterday, I visited the property yesterday, and I was talking to Mr. Thomas today. For this specific case, the only violation remaining is for the derelict vehicle, which is 18-4C. So all the rest of them have been brought into compliance. So we wouldn't recommend an extension because it should just be simple to register a vehicle and have it
or
operable.
remove it.
Or remove it. And I explained that to him this morning. So in regards to that case, we wouldn't be recommending an extension.
Okay,
I'll let him speak on behalf.
all right. So everything else has been resolved.
Everything else has been
When
resolved.
I read this, I saw this idea of recurring violations.
Yes.
Of all these things from an old case. This better not recur again, sir. You had one bite at it, now you got the second bite at it. You fix these things, that's good. Now there's just one vehicle to remove, that's got to go. So I'm not going to give an extension to do that. I can give him 3 days to do it?
I mean, that'd be fine. He should
Shouldn't
either
take
just
that long.
remove it or register it and
Or
make
get a
sure it's
tag.
operable. I doubt it runs. I don't think it runs. It's got flat tires and it's been there since the case started. The case has been there since August. We
Okay.
started this
Well,
case.
the fact that he's made progress on all these other things
Yeah.
is significant.
Yeah.
So tell us your name, sir.
My name is Anthony Thomas.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 days to get this car off the property, or a fine is going to continue. Okay?
Yes.
It's not that hard to do. Sorry, just get it towed, get it stored somewhere, but it can't stay. That's the easiest thing you had to do, is get rid of this car off the property. We can't have derelict cars sitting on people's property because it hurts the value of the other people's property in the neighborhood. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that'll be the ruling.
All right. And he's got another case.
Yes, I'll read that one in now. Page 25, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22080008, case address 2312 Northwest 6th Place, owner Anthony Lewis Thomas and Serena Thomas. This case was first heard 12/13/22 to comply by 2/14/23. One suspension, 3/14/23 to 4/11/23. One section not complied at $25 per day. One section complied at $25 per day for a total of $700. $1,400 accrued. The fines continue to accrue, and this is also a request for extension.
Inspector Quintero Jr. on behalf of the city, case and address as read. Same thing when I talked to him this morning, he's removed all that outdoor storage, so that's complied. The remaining is the landscape, and I, went over exactly what he needed to do. He said he's working with the city for a program that is gonna assist him to fix the landscaping, so I'll let him speak on that behalf.
Okay, on the program is 2308. So he showed me the grass and stuff that I have to do on 2312. I put some down, but he said I have to cover all the bald spots. So
Well, I see a pallet of sod is out there somewhere, and that hasn't been laid out yet, but yeah, the rest of it's got to be done.
I have laid that out.
That pallet in that picture was laid on 2308, which is the house that we just spoke
Okay.
on. So for this vacant lot, he hasn't done anything to correct, those last areas that need to be addressed that are just dirt.
So is there any idea, any sympathy for an extension? I don't think so, right?
No, it's, same thing. The case has been going on since August, and, simple remove the storage, which, took a while for him to do that portion, and then it's still, the landscaping was never addressed at all, so.
Okay, this came before me, as
Yes.
I recall, back in
Yes,
January.
you granted an extension before
Okay,
already.
so I already gave you the extension. I'm not going to give you another one. But you've made a lot of progress. I'm going to encourage you to finish up, keep the momentum, get it done. The fines will continue to accrue. There is a process that once you're in compliance, you could go to one of these ladies and get the paperwork to seek a lien reduction. If you qualify, there's an application you have to do and go through it. But I remember this, and I already gave you the time before. So the fact that you made some progress is not sufficient because it's not done. Okay? So it's got to get done. It looks still really bad. Look at this picture, really bad. So the extension is denied. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll work with you at the, if you get it done, because you made progress, but you've got to make progress and get into compliance.
All right.
Then we can work with you on the fines, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, page 25, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22110298, case address 1741 Northwest 25th Terrace, owner Katie B. Robinson Estates, and care of Shaik M. Scott. This case was first heard 3/14/23 to comply by 4/11/23. Two sections not complied at $25 per day. Fines start 4/12/23, and this is a request for extension.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case and address is read into the records. This is a request for an extension. The case was first came before the magistrate on 3/14, where the evidence was presented and found for the city, with a compliance date of 4/12/23. A 28-day extension was given to come into compliance. The property is not in compliance yet. However, lots of the violations have been in compliance, and they're working diligently to get it done. I visited the property a couple of times, but there's a no trespass sign, so I wanted to connect with the owners so I could thoroughly go over what needs to be done, so we will actually meet after magistrate to get that done. I would like to have a stay of fines and a reappearance date of 6/13/23 with 63 days to come into compliance at this time.
Okay, that's pretty generous, but you've seen them make progress, that's why you're
Yeah,
recommending.
they've done, a lot, a
Okay.
lot. They've
All right, ladies,
complied on 1, 2, 3.
I remember you from before. I remember this barbecue thing out front. That's got to go. So she's giving you 2 months to get this done.
As you see depicted in the photo, they've done a lot of work.
Right. It
On
does
the
look-
last
it
photo,
does
they're
look
really
much
working
better.
diligently. to
Tell
get
us
it
your
done.
name so we know on the,
Sheikah Johnson.
okay?
Tori Scott.
Okay. So again, she's saying you've made a lot of progress, which is appreciated by your neighbors and the city, but it's got to get concluded. 63 days is ample time to get this finished, right?
Yes, sir.
Where the fines, so the fines ran, and there's fines on the property, but there are no fines at all?
No,
Oh,
no,
not
there
till
are no
4/12.
fines on the property at
4/12
this
is-
time.
Okay, so they're asking for a stay, so there are no fines. Again, nobody wants the fines. They really want the compliance, and you're working towards that.
Yes.
So she's supporting that, okay?
Okay.
So that's a long time to get it done. You've made good progress. Let's wrap it up, and there won't be any fines, and we can move on with your life and just take care of the property, right?
Yes.
Okay, ladies,
All right, thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, sir.
okay? The extension is granted.
Next case, page 8, Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 23010776, case address 2112 Southeast 4th Avenue, owner Dottie J. Parker, posted at property 3/27/23, posted at City Hall 3/28/23.
Good morning, Mr. Magistrate. Rafael Santos for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 23010776. The property address is 2112 Southeast 4th Ave. I inspected this property on January 30th, 2023, and found the following violations. 9-305 for the gravel driveway, that has been complied. Code section 47-34.1A.1, there's illegal land use occurring at this property concerning the outdoor storage. There are tires, there are suitcases, there are buckets, containers, coolers, wheelchair, and other miscellaneous items. I can say that there was also like 8 shopping carts up in the front of the property, and they took care of that promptly, and they're going to speak to you and let you know what's going on with this property and their tenant. An inspection report was issued on January 30th, 2023. I re-inspected the property on February 26th, 2023. Notice of hearing was posted on property March 27th, 2023. A pre-hearing inspection was done April 9th, 2023. The violation remains as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or a $25 per day fine thereafter.
Okay, name and address, please.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. My name's Dottie J. Parker. The address in question is 2112 Southeast 4th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale 33316.
All right, this is a rental property, right, that you own?
That's correct.
Okay. What is it going to take to get all this mess cleaned up?
I would respectfully request an extension to get this done.
He's given you 28 days to do it.
Yes, sir. I think that we should, we not only want to be in compliance, but we want to have the tenant to work with him on a closer relationship on a day-to-day if required, so that he knows that he cannot store stuff in the front yard.
Well, that's for you to tell him, but you're the property owner. You're responsible. Get the tenant to do what he or she needs to do, but you've got 28 days within which to do that. That cannot persist. It's good that you got the gravel driveway done, but the tenant cannot control your property this way, or you're at risk for fines. Everybody knows, we don't want the fines. This has got to be cleaned up. It cannot continue. You got 4 weeks to do it.
Yes, sir, but respectfully, I'm dealing with a mentally how should I put it, incapacitated vet. He's a military vet of over 20-some years, and he has been progressively getting worse and worse. We are working with him. He's not aggressive. He's a collector, and it's difficult to have people around him at this time. He doesn't like authority.
Well,
so-
I suggest you find somebody that can help you speak with him if you can't do it, but this cannot persist.
Okay.
So he's going to have to understand, if he wants to keep this stuff, he's going to have to hide it somewhere where it's not visible. But it can't stay like this. It's unacceptable.
I understand, sir,
So-
and thank you for the 28 days.
You're welcome for that. That's from the inspector. Otherwise, a fine starts of $25 a day. You heard me say over and over, don't want the money. We do need the compliance to benefit the property, your property, as well as the people who are surrounding here, because it hurts their property when things like this persist. So no matter who he is, if you can find somebody that helps you speak with him, somebody from the vet organization or whatever it takes, but it's got to be picked up and stored away, okay? If you want to help
Yes,
him
sir.
do that, that's great, but it can't persist. Okay, 28 days for compliance, $25 per day, if not timely compliant. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Parker.
Thank you, Magistrate.
Next case, page 13, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 22060098, case address 1081 Northwest 25th Way. Owner, Willie M. Chance Estates, posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case number CE 22060098, property address 1081 Northwest 25th Way. The property was inspected on 11/30/2022, and the following violations were observed. 9-305A, there is growth in landscape and accumulation of leaves encroaching the public right-of-way. 9-305B, the landscape on the property has not been maintained in a neat, well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the right-of-way and swell area. 9-280, subsection 8, subsection 1, the chain link fence at the property is in disrepair and is not being maintained as required. 47-34.1.8.1. There are illegal land use occurring on the property. There is outside storage consisting of propane tanks, shutters, buckets, and other storage consisting and other storage and miscellaneous items. 18-1, there is a violation on the property creating a public nuisance. There are items being stored in the carport, such as plywood, generators, compressors, buckets, and other miscellaneous items. 9-308A, there is a large yellow top covering the entire roof. The roof is not in good repair and not weather or watertight. An inspection report was posted on the property on 6/9/22. A reinspection was done on 7/14/22, and the violations remained. A 30-day extension was granted. A notice of hearing was posted on 3/27/23. As a pre-hearing inspection on 4/2, the violations remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
Okay. Nothing has been fixed at all.
No.
Okay, your name and address, sir?
I'm Joseph Chance, 1081 Northwest 25th Way, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33311.
Okay, look, you've got a lot of violations here that you're not getting addressed, and now you need to get them addressed.
Yes, sir.
Because you need to take it seriously.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm taking it seriously. You can't live like this and affect the neighbors like this and have all this junk and mess all around this home. It's easy enough to clean it up, put it away, and comply. You've got 4 weeks to do that. If you don't, there'll be a fine. Every one of these violations is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they remain, it'll be $300 a day if they're all not fixed. I said before, the city does not want your money or anybody else's money. They need to fix this up, but it can't continue like this. It's completely unacceptable. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you got 28 days, $50 per day per violation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, page 10, Inspector Bernstein Sambert, case number CE 22120227, case address 2015 Northwest 3rd Court, owner Mary H. Little Living Trust, Clematis W. Austin trustee, posted at property 32323, posted at City Hall 32823.
Good morning, City of Fort Lauderdale. Code Inspector Bernstein Sambert, case number CE 22120227, property address 2015 Northwest 3rd Court. This property was inspected on December 8th, 2022. The following violations were observed. 9-306 complied, 9-3138 complied, 187B complied, 4721.16.8 complied, 4734.1.8.1 complied. 9304B, the driveway is not being maintained. There are areas of the driveway that is not completely blacktop. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. Pre-hearing inspection revealed the following violation is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that shows violation as depicted. The city is requesting 63 days or a fine of $25 per day. I have been in contact with the property owner, and she advised me that she is an elderly person and she's been trying to upkeep the property. She has made a lot of progress, and she's here to...
Okay, it would be, there's a recommendation of $25 per violation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, your name and address?
Your name and address.
Clatimus Austin, 2015.
Okay, you made a lot of progress on fixing a number of things. Can you hear me?
She's hard of hearing.
All right, you can tell her for me. She's made a lot of progress,
What do you say?
You made a lot of progress.
but you have 2 things left to do, the driveway and the landscaping,
Yes.
okay? So he's given you 63 days.
63 days for the driveway and the landscape, the grass.
That's what they're gonna give me
63 days to fix it.
to fix it.
She's gonna need a permit for the driveway, I presume.
No, it's almost ready. It just, I explained it to the son, and he's aware that he just got to finish it off completely.
Oh, they started?
Yeah, he started. It was just a piece
What about
that.
that big hole in the driveway? That's been fixed?
The
There was a big hole in the
Yeah,
driveway.
we covered that with dirt.
We covered
Okay.
that with dirt, and
All
he's
right, but you
gonna
gotta
put.
pave it now, or what?
No, he has to put landscape on top of it. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Okay, that's the picture I'm talking about.
Correct.
That's been taken care of, or will be, right?
No, it's taken care of. As he put the dirt on
Okay,
it, he just
okay.
needs to put landscape
Okay,
grass.
so, but they're pretty close.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, so 63 days is plenty of time to get this done, these 2 things, right, sir?
That's fine.
Th-
63 days to put the grass down.
Put the grass down, that's what we have to do.
That's all, just grass, that's it, right?
It's the grass and what?
The driveway, just kind of finish it off.
You have
That's
to
all.
finish the driveway off.
The driveway and the grass.
What's wrong with the driveway?
That little
The
part,
red flag.
that,
Okay,
well, we can't see it.
okay.
That white piece on the end by the street, that gotta be fixed. Gotta pay, I gotta finish that
How
off.
come Jared fix that?
I ran out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're gonna help her do this, though?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, I'm sorry? The fine is $25 per violation if not timely complied. 63 days, $25. Again, don't want the money, just need to finish up. She's done a really good job of getting it done. If you've been helping her, please just finish it up. And it's a nice little house, and get it back to where it belongs, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Get first. That's it, we finished? We finished? Thank you.
Next case, page 6, Inspector Malika Murray, case number CE 23020098, case address 1324 Citrus Isle, owner Bernard E. Firth IV, Tricia G. Firth, personal service 31523, posted at City Hall 33023.
Inspector Malika Murray for the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance. The case number is CE 23020098 for the address of 1324 Citrus Isles. The following complaint was submitted by a local resident in regards to the violations that were cited. An inspection of this occupied property was performed by Senior Inspector Jolly, and that inspection occurred on February the 3rd, 2023, and found that once again the exterior walls had mildew and or stains on them, as well as there was a boat on a trailer on the property that was obstructing the sidewalk. These both are recurring violations at this property, having previously occurred on case number CE 210-90476. An inspection report was posted at the property allowing 10 days to remove the sidewalk obstruction and 30 days to clean and or paint the exterior walls. The property was cited under violations 47-34.1.A.1 for the illegal obstruction, and then for the exterior walls under 9-306. During a reinspection that occurred not too long after the initial inspection on February 22nd, 2023, the property was found to be in compliance at that time. During a pre-hearing inspection that occurred on April the 9th, 2023, it was confirmed that the property remains in compliance. Due to the recurring nature of this violation, the city would like to request a finding of fact that the violations did exist.
Okay. Yes, sir, your name and address?
Bernard Firth, 1324 Citrus Isle, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33315.
Okay. You've got a really nice house here and in a very nice neighborhood in this city. So now you're in compliance, correct?
That is correct.
So now what they're asking for is called a finding of fact or an adjudication, meaning they've established these were in violation, but they're now in compliance. But if it comes back, it's going to be either one of these or both. They will be repeat violations. If that happens, the fines go way up per day. And you've already had a case in 2021. Now this case, if it comes back to me, it will not be a good day for you. I don't want to see this back here. You don't want to be back here. It's really simple. Don't block the sidewalk. You can't do that, obviously, for people that need to use the sidewalk. And the other parts about the mold or the mildew, if you keep the property up, like I say, it's a really nice property and a very nice neighborhood. Just got to take care of it. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Next case, page 5, Inspector Malika Murray, case number CE 2301057, case address 993 West State Road 84, owner William Weil Sachs Trust, in care of DTS Properties 2 LLC, posted at property 31523, posted at City Hall 32823. We do not have a respondent, but we do have the manager that is here to hear the case.
Okay, manager? Doesn't want to speak? Okay. All right, he can hear what we're going to say then. That's fine.
Yes, sir. He's just showing that he is responsible and concerned about the actual case.
What kind of property is this? What kind of commercial use is it?
It is a B1 Boulevard business.
What's that mean?
It is a commercial property that is a shopping center. that's located on West State Road 84.
Okay.
Again, Inspector Murray with the City of Fort Lauderdale Code Compliance. The case number is CE 23010757 for the property address of 993 West State Road 84. This is a commercial property zone B1 Boulevard Business that was first inspected by Senior Inspector Manny Garcia on January the 27th, 2023, following an action item that was received. During that inspection, the following violations were observed: 18-1 for trash and accumulation outside as well as near the dumpster enclosure at this property, creating a public nuisance. The next violation would be for 18-12A for trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and the surrounding swell area. The next violation would be for 9-305B for the landscape at this property not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. Next violation would be 47-19.4C2 for the trash containers at this property or dumpster at this property not being placed back into the approved enclosure. Next violation would be for 47-19.4.D.8 for the dumpster enclosure not being maintained in a proper condition at this property, having an accumulation of trash and debris within the actual dumpster enclosure. Postings were done as per Department of Protocol. I've spoken numerous times with property representation who was sitting in the rear of the hearing room today in regards to the violations as well as the corrective actions for the violations. Currently, violations 18-1 is in compliance. Violation 18-12A is in compliance. Violation 47-19.4C2 is in compliance. The only remaining violations would be for 9-305 for the landscape having missing or bare areas, and the violation for the dumpster enclosure not being maintained with the gates being closed is currently still existing. The city is currently asking, as well as there has not been any change in ownership for this property since February the 15th, 2022. The city is asking for 28 days to bring the landscape violation into compliance and 10 days to have the dumpster enclosure properly maintained. And if not, $50 per day to accrue thereafter.
Okay. All right. There's apparently been a significant trash problem because most of these violations had to do with trash. Those have been resolved.
Yes, sir.
But I see one of them was a recurring violation, and it's now in compliance. You can let the property owner know, don't bring this back, because if it is, it's going to be a repeat violation, and I'm going to be very powerfully strong on it. I don't want to see this back.
Special Magistrate, I'd like to add for the record that the gentleman as well as his crew are doing a decent job trying to maintain it. Some of the trash is actually being blown across the street from surrounding businesses, but since being in contact with him, they have regularly maintained it. I just wanted to make sure that it was on the record.
That is appreciated, so I get that. But no matter what happens, whether it's thrown by people, blows over there, the property owner is ultimately responsible to take care of the property. If somebody put graffiti on the property owner wouldn't have done that. Some random person did it, but you'd still be responsible to take care of it. You know the deal. So, no, that's all right. That's all right. But again, you've got to stay on top of it. So closing the door to the dumpster is about as simple as it can get. The landscaping has got to be fixed up, and he's giving you 28 days to do that. The fines are very modest. I would go higher if it was me, but I'm going to honor what he's proposing of $50 a day if it's not done on time. But I do not want to see this case back here. And there's a lot of this stuff is just trash stuff, and the one was a recurring violation. Don't come back. The repeat violations can go up to, I think, how much?
Sir, excuse me for interrupting. I think the inspector was asking for 10 days compliance.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
On the
10
dumpster
days for the
and
dump-
28 days on the other violation.
28 days for the other violation, but 10 days for the dumpster, which is easy enough to do, like close it today, then you're in compliance. Okay, but just in the meantime, just keep control of it, okay? All right?
Thank you, Special Magistrate,
All right.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
That's the end of our respondents. Are you
Okay.
ready to continue?
Yes. You want to take a break? No. Let's go.
No? She need a break. We'll take it.
I'll take a 2-minute break. Couldn't hurt.
Okay,
Come
we'll
on.
take a
Maybe 3.
5-minute break.
5
Back
minutes.
at 10:25.
Do we hear 10?
Everybody back at 10:25.
What's up?
Next case, page 7, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 23020539, case address 1725 Northwest 6th Place, owner Andrew Bryant, posted at property 32323, posted at City Hall 32823.
Good morning, Inspector Quintero Jr. presented on behalf of the city. Case and address as read. This property was first inspected on 2/17/23 by Inspector Noel, and the following violations were observed. 47-21.11.a, the landscape does not present a neat, well-kept appearance. There are missing and/or bare areas of lawn cover. There are missing and/or dead trees, hedges, and other plant life that have not been maintained, replaced, or removed. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and/or its swale. This is a repeat violation of previous case numbers CE 1810-0590, CE 1904-1271, CE 1905-1363, CE 2007-0189, and CE 2204-0496. This case will be brought to the magistrate whether compliance is made prior to the hearing due to the repeat nature of the violation. Inspection report was mailed out to the owner listed on BCPA records on 2/17/23. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 4/10/23, and the violation still exists. There's been no contact from the property owner during the course of the case. The city is requesting fines to begin for violation 18-12A from the day it was observed, 2/17/23, at a rate of $250 per day until the date it was brought into compliance, February 28, 23, due to the repeat nature. And for the other violation, 47-2111A, 28 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
Okay, how high can I go up on the repeat violation? I can go higher than that, right?
You can.
All right, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases for repeat, right?
Yes.
I want to impose $500 per day for that. This guy's not getting the message, and he needs to get the message. From the 17th until?
From the 17th to the 28th.
Compliance? Okay, that's
He's
the
already
28.
complied, right?
It's complied.
It's
500 per day from
Right.
the 17th until the 28th.
And the
You're
reason,
talking about February 17th.
February 17th to February 28th.
and the reason for that is
23.
these other 5 this is just not taking care of the vacant lot, right?
It's a vacant lot.
Yeah.
Right
And
next
so
to our
it's
building.
over and over, he just doesn't take care of it, it has to get cited.
Yes.
So do you have any dealings with him?
I've emailed him. He doesn't respond. Try to call him. He doesn't call back.
Okay, we'll leave him a message that the magistrate impose a $500 per day fine for each day.
11 days at $500.
$5,500.
So
Okay.
that should get his attention, I hope, whatever it takes. All right, folks. And then 28 days for the other one?
28 days for the
For
other one.
$50 for the,
$50 a day.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next case, page 8, Inspector Bernstein Seinbert, case number CE 23010563, case address 528 Northwest 18th Avenue, owner Jeffrey R. Balfe, Ashley Ann Nierenberg, posted at property 32323, posted at City Hall 32823.
Inspector Bernstein, City of Lauderdale Community Enhancement, case number CE 23010563, property address 528 Northwest 18th Ave. This property was inspected on January 23, 2023, and the following violations were observed. 1812A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and or its swell. This is a recurrent violation per case CE-1912-0649. This case will be presented before the special magistrate as a finding of fact whether or not the violation complies prior to the hearing. 9305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover, including the swell. 9-278E, there are hurricane shutters covering in or down on some of the windows at this residential property. This is not providing the required ventilation per code. Section 2427F, the green trash cart lid is open at this location. A pre-hearing inspection revealed the violation stated is not in compliance. I would like to enter the photos as evidence that show violations as depicted. City is requesting 28 days to comply or a fine of $50 per day.
Okay, is this a vacant lot, a vacant property rather?
It's possible, I'm not sure. Someone did come and cut the grass, but they kind of just disregard the notice.
Well, it's a nice little house, but the yard is awful. Awful. All right, for the recurring violation, I'm gonna make that $100 per day. The first one,
The first one, okay.
for the first one. And the other ones, $50 per day, as you request for 28 days, but total of 28 days to comply for all of them. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, folks.
Next case, page 10, Inspector Diego Santos, case number CE 23010284, case address 82 Southwest 24th Avenue, owner Louis Charles John Steve Katia E. Job, posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
Good morning, Inspector Diego Santos, representing the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case as read on January 10, 2023. I inspected the property, and this is the violations I observed. 9-305B, the landscape maintenance. The landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover in the front of the property in the swell area. 9-304B, the driveway is not being maintained at this property. There are weeds growing through it, the driveway. 18-12A was complied. 47-341A1 was complied. At this moment, the city is requesting 28 days for the property owner to come into compliance or face a fine of $25 per day per violation thereafter.
Okay. What about all those paver blocks?
That's part of the fixing the driveway, the repair of the driveway.
Okay. Okay. So I'll accept your recommendation, so ordered.
Next case, page 15, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 23010893, case address 2601 Northwest 16th Street, owner Ellis J. Parker Sr., posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
I'm sorry.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the records. The property was inspected on 3/31/23, and the following violation was observed. 18-4C, there's a derelict vehicle on the property, a gold Lincoln, expired tag 922, plate number EZXR79. The vehicle appears to be in a crash and is inoperable. An inspection report was posted on 1/31/23. A reinspection of the property was done on 2/14/23. A notice of hearing was posted on 3/26/23, and as pre-hearing inspection on 4/2, the violation remains as depicted in the photos. The car has been covered with no proof that it's not the same car, so trying to get in touch with the owner. The city is requesting 10 days or $25 a day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, also page 15, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 23010011, case address 1771 Northwest 27th Avenue, owner Carrie Bell Thomas Estates, posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
Karen Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the records. The property was inspected on 1/2/23, and the following violations were observed. 9-305A complied. 9-380 subsection 8 subsection 1 has been withdrawn. 9-304B, the paved driveway is in disrepair and has cracks and potholes and needs to be resurfaced. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. Structural parts, including the carport, fascia, are in disrepair. The areas of the exterior that have faded and missing peeling paint. 9-280 subsection B, there are building parts that are deteriorated and not maintained. The awnings are bent and need to be cleaned and painted. 18-12 subsection A has complied, but it is a repeat violation. Refer to case number CE 21121. I'm sorry, CE 211-20273 and CE 22060465 as finding of fact.
Is it recurring or repeat?
It's a recurring. I'm sorry. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
An
so-
inspection report was posted on the property on 1/2/23. I re-inspected the property on 2/5/23. A notice of hearing was posted on 3/26/23. As of pre-hearing inspection on 4/2, the violations remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days or $50 a day thereafter for each violation.
And the last one's a finding of fact only.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so ordered.
Next case, page 16, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 23010274, case address 2025 Northwest 21st Avenue, owner Chantel Justice, posted at property 32723, posted at City Hall 32823.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the records. The property was inspected on 1/10/23 and the following violations were observed. 18-12A has complied. 9-305B, the landscape on the property is not maintained in a neat, well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-304B, the paved driveway is not maintained at this property. The driveway has large cracks and needs to be resurfaced. 9-304, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. The areas of the exterior that have stained, missing, and peeling paint. An inspection report was mailed out on 1/10/23. A re-inspection of the property was done on 2/12/23. A notice of hearing was posted on 3/27/23. As of pre-hearing inspection on 4/10, the violations remain as depicted in the photos. I have been in constant contact with the owner, and this is the reason why I'm requesting 63 days and $25 a day thereafter for each violation.
So ordered.
Thank you, sir.
Next case, page 18, Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 221000781, case address 401 Southeast 20th Street, numbers 1 through 4, owners 401 Southeast 20th Street LLC. This case was first heard 2/14/23 to comply by 3/14/23. One section complied at $50 per day, $650 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
Oh, so ordered.
Page 19, Inspector Diego Santos, case number CE 220. Okay. Diego Santos, case number CE 220400348, case address 1356 Southwest 23rd Avenue, owner Robert E. White Jr. This case was first heard 7/12/22 to comply by 8/16/22. One suspension from 11/9/22 through 12/14/22. Three sections complied at $25 per day, $6,375 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
Good morning, Inspector Diego Santos on behalf of the city for the case as read. So the case was first heard on July 12, 2022. The magistrate ruled in favor of the city. The property owner was ordered to correct the violations at this property by August 16, 2022. The case was heard again on November 9, and the magistrate granted a 35-day extension and fines were suspended. Violations were brought into compliance on December 14, 2022. At this moment, the city is requesting the oppose of the administrative costs of $985.
How much?
$985.
Okay.
And the total comes from the inspections, were 16 inspections conducted, $46 each, total $736, and there were 3 appearances in special magistrate, $83 each, total $249, and then the total $985.
You guys are too generous. So ordered.
Thank you.
To be 3 times
Next
that.
case, also page 19, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22090115, case address 802 Northwest 10 Terrace, number 2, owner Prasad USA Property Holdings LLC. This case was first heard 1/26/23 to comply by 2/23/23. 2 sections complied at $100 per day, $4,400 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
So ordered.
Next case, page 20, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22100021, case address 630 Northwest 22nd Road, owner Edmund Villard. This case was first heard 1/26/23 to comply by 2/23/23. 1 section not complied at $50 per day, $2,350 accrued. 1 section complied at $50 per day, $1,350 accrued, for a total of $3,700. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Next case, page 21, Inspector Wilson Quintero Jr., case number CE 22100627, case address 1770 Northwest 25th Avenue, owner Annie B. McGowan Estates. This case was first heard 2/14/23 to comply by 3/14/23. 3 sections not complied at $50 per day, $4,200 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Next case, page 23, Inspector Diego Santos, case number CE 22101053. No? Okay.
Are you granting in the next section? Yeah.
Oh. So continue to read it? Okay. Inspector, page 23, Inspector Diego Santos, case number CE 221053, case address 2248 Southwest 14th Court, owner HPA Borrower 2016-1 LLC. This case was first heard 2/14/23 to comply by 3/21/23. 1 section not complied at $100 per day, $2,100 accrued. 1 section complied at $100 per day, $600 accrued, $2,700 accrued. The fines continue to accrue, and this is a request for extension.
Good morning, Inspector Diego Santos on behalf of the city of Fort Lauderdale. Case as read. So the case was first heard on February 14, 2023, where the magistrate ruled in favor of the city, and the property owner was ordered to correct the violations. A follow-up inspection was conducted on March 21st, and the property complied with violations 9-304B, the driveway maintenance, and 9-306, the exterior maintenance. However, violations 9-305B, landscape maintenance, and 9-280H1 for the fence was still remaining, and the fines began to accrue. Violation 9-305B, the landscape maintenance was brought into compliance on March 27, 2023, 6 days later. Violation 9-280H1 for the fence, I observed that the fence was replaced. However, the fence was installed without a permit. Therefore, the property remains in violation, and fines will continue to accrue. At this time, the city is requesting 10 days for the property owner to obtain a permit, and fines will still continue to run until the permits are provided.
So ordered.
The city is requesting to enter pages 27 and 28 into today's hearing as an exhibit. It is the city's list of complied, closed, withdrawn, and rescheduled cases.
Those are accepted.
This concludes the special magistrate hearing for Tuesday, April 11, 2023.